welcome to my card share. This is going to be for all of November and like the first week of December because I was still trying to pump out projects from the November batch that I started into December because that is how much I bit off more than I could chew. It is a huge amount of cards. Most of them are multiples of cards. I did my own Christmas cards. I was a little bit behind this year. We moved at the end of this summer, which is usually when I do my Christmas projects. So I was a good 4 to 6 weeks behind on my Christmas stuff. And in fact, as of this filming, I am still not done and still have like another 2 or 3 batches of cards that I have to pump out. Running really late. So I had those, and also I was making sets of cards to give as gifts to friends and family, and I will do, the cards are done, but the gifts themselves haven't been assembled yet, so I will come back and do a quick update probably in another video when I have a gift set ready to show you, to show how I packaged my, my cards to give as gifts. Anyway, so a caveat, again, there's multiples of a lot of things. So like this is how many cards I have left that I haven't sent out this container here. So most of them have multiples. I have already sent out quite a bit of things, so this isn't even an accurate representation of the quantity that I've done. I've been really, really busy, and this is most of the stamps and dies that I have done. So this introduction is just to kind of warn you, this is going to be a really long video. This is going to be a very chatty video. I'm going to go into each card. I'm going to show you not all of the supplies, but the stamps and dies that I have used with the project. There's going to be a ton of links down below. This video isn't going to be for everyone. This is just going to be for the hardcore peeps that like following my work. And I do have some projects in here that are not card related to show you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this introduction up and then get reorganized so that this moves a little bit more smoothly, and then I will be back. Let's go ahead and get started. Because it's taking up physically the most space that I have to sort and organize cards, I'm going to go ahead and show you the different card designs that I made for gift boxes for my friends and family for this upcoming Christmas. I did 10 different birthday card designs. This is the year I'm going to start giving everybody a gift box with 10 different birthday cards in it, and I'm going to slip a little note inside each box saying that I'm going to build on your collection every year. So I'll renew a couple of birthday cards and I'll add a couple of other occasions in there as well, and to let my friends and family know to hang on to the boxes because I'm going to make more cards for them. So anyway, so I did 10 different designs, and there's a bunch for each design because they're all going to be packaged up. Now these will be packed up individually with an envelope in my little cello sleeves, and then those will go into the box to kind of protect them from dust and light and just, you know, regular icky stuff, and then of course to keep the envelope with the card. So anyway, so let's go ahead and start with the first design, and I used I'm a big Lawn Fawn fan, so I have lots of Lawn Fawn stuff I wanted to use. This one, most of them are Lawn Fawn actually. This one is using the Bicycle Built for You set, which I think came out 1 or 2 springs ago. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have links to all of these things down below, stamp and coordinating die sets. I really do enjoy this set. As you can see, it's quite stained. I've used it quite a bit. It covers more than birthday. It can cover like Bon Voyage, travel cards, wedding cards. It could just be congratulations card, you know, somebody's graduating from college or taking another sort of big life step like that. You could just do simply like an enjoy the ride sentiment or something. Anyway, so I really do like this set. So I did a bunch of different cards. Now also one of my themes for this year has been to use up supplies that I have on hand, clear stuff out. So you'll see all throughout these cards that I've used a variety of patterned papers, and this is no exception here. So none of these cards, all of these cards are the same, but they're all slightly different because I use different supplies and stuff up on different cards. So also I use, this is a fairly new acquisition for me. I recently picked up within the past couple of months the Lawn Fawn Simple Road Border, the curved road here. I have the straight one from, I think it's My Favorite Things, but I didn't have a curved one, and I actually have a Cricut. So this is the sort of thing that I would look into my Cricut and see if I could find a cut file to do something like this. And I never really found a road cut file that I liked within the Cricut Design Space files. So I just thought that I would invest in this one. And I think I picked it up when it was on sale or something. And I'm really glad that I did. So I did use this one as well. And this is the design that I kind of came up with. I have, oh, and I also use, oh, I didn't hold them out, but I have just some generic stitch trees dies that I think may have actually been given to me. I'm not really sure. And then, of course, I used my Lawn Fawn hillside borders as well. I have kind of my, you know, a bunch of different border dies all together, and it's a big thing. I liked stitch stuff. I would have to say I do wish that the road came in a stitched version as well, but fingers crossed. Hint, hint, Lawn Fawn. Stitched everything, please. Anyway, so I went basically with just a kid on a bike. I have some clouds here. This is not a stitch die here. I think this is just a Cricut cutting file making these clouds here, but I stamped wishing you a beautiful birthday on all of these. So basically they're all kind of the same thing. We'd have a little boy with the dog in the basket and the balloons, and then I did a version with a girl with a kitty. So just different positioning, I did all of my coloring. I stamped everything out together for all of these cards. And again, there's 10 different 10 different cards. And I stamped everything out onto Bristol Smooth cardstock using the My Favorite Things Extreme Black ink, and colored them all with my Tombow watercolor markers, and then blended them out with some water. So I did all of that at once, and that took a couple of weeks of just doing that in my downtime, and then die cut them all. And then that's how kind of my process works for mass producing things. So by the time I was getting ready to throw the cards together, each card kind of, I found a couple of green papers that I wanted to use for the background. Each card kind of just went together organically. I spaced it a little bit different. You get bored when you're mass producing things. So I didn't want everything to be exactly the same thing. So they're all the same, but they're all slightly different. And it was a little bit more entertaining for me to keep up with. But anyway, so that is the cards that I have with the bicycle built for you, and using a couple of border sets, which you will see throughout all of my cards, basically. These almost never get put away. Maybe not the road one, but like the clouds and the hills, and these almost never get put away. They're almost in constant use. So you'll see them again on other cards. So here we have a bicycle built for you. And then I also pulled out the Lawn Fawn Plain and Simple, which is another favorite, but this one is definitely a lot more plain and simple of a Lawn Fawn set. I thought that this was good to make some masculine cards, and of course I have the coordinating dies as well. Just some plain masculine looking cards. So I decided to do a little sky scene, and here is that stitched cloud border. And this one is pretty much the same thing. I have a couple of Nuvo drops here and there to just embellish the cards a little bit. Just different positioning, slightly different positioning, but more or less the same thing. I really do like this set. Incidentally, I make some Father's Day cards using this set every year and put it in my Etsy shop, and they always sell. So it's a good Father's Day theme as well for this. So we have Happy Birthday, the Sky's the Limit. Okay. This is gonna get crowded around here. Let me move some things out of the way. Also, I haven't had a chance to put my personal stamp on the back of any of these cards yet. So when I'm pausing the video in between filming, it's because I'm going to pause it to put my stamp on them and get them packaged up after I show them to you. No more excuses. While they're out, I'm gonna get some work done. Okay. Now we have another Lawn Fawn set using Screen Time. This is a relatively newer set for them. I think this came out in the summer, this past summer, and of course the coordinating dies. I really do love this set. This one is going to stay out because I have a lot of plans to use this with some Valentine's Day cards, because I'm now making Valentine's Day cards. If you're not making Valentine's Day before Christmas, you're too late. That's kind of my rule. So anyway, so I'm working on Valentine's Day cards, and this is kind of what I came up with. And these ones were simple but surprisingly really cute, and I think a lot of the cuteness had to do with pulling together some of those pattern papers from my stash that I'm trying to use up. And again, these are birthday cards, so I found this really fun animal balloon birthday paper and like some coordinating paper here. I've heat embossed, white heat embossed, you leveled up, it's your birthday. We just have a boy and a girl playing some video games on the floor with popcorn and a drink or whatever. And I mounted the monitor here on a little foam tape to give it a little bit of dimension. I don't know if you can see, just to make it look like the monitor's a little bit closer to us. So very simple, but I really liked the way that it turned out. And here's the other kind of version of it here with the stripe paper and then this star paper from the background. Using up, I think these are all double-sided papers, so just kind of using them up and making sure that my little ground area matched the background wall area by using both sides of the double-sided paper. So, and I have just, my children are colored differently and placing out. That's another thing that I try to do, is I try to be diverse when I'm coloring people. Because we all come in a variety of different colors. I try to be diverse. There we go. So that is screen time from Lawn Fawn. The ones I'm going to do for Valentine's Day, which you'll see probably in January, are involve using the phone and doing some fun text message cards. I already have some ideas sketched out. So the next batch, I used the Lawn Fawn Loads of Fun stamp set and coordinating die set. This one is really cute. This one I picked up within the past year or so. And this was actually my first time using it, was on this card. I didn't grab this one when it was new, which is too bad, because it is a lot of fun. And I was thinking, you know, pretty much by the time Lawn Fawn is done with us, we're going to be able to have like our whole house, replicate our whole houses in stamp sets, aren't we? Like, we have the washing machine here. We have a dryer coming out for a toaster coming out for Valentine's Day. We got a stove last year. Pretty soon our whole kitchen is going to be covered. We've got blenders and it's going to be a lot of fun. That's one of the reasons why I like Lawn Fawn, is because they're a lot of fun and they're really punny too. I do like this set. I decided to make birthday cards out of them. So again, using up some of my pattern papers from my stash. These are all more or less the same thing, just different positionings of things. And the sentiment I chose to use is "Hope your birthday is loads of fun." And what I did that I thought was really cool was that the door here of the washing machine I've actually covered with glossy accents, and I'm not sure if it's picking up, just to kind of make everything look a little bit more like an actual washing machine. I thought that would be fun. Actually, some of it's glossy accents, and then I ran out of glossy accents, and then some of them are Nouveau glaze, but you really can't really tell the difference between the two of them. And I was a little bit nervous. I did just one, and I let it dry because I wanted to see. I was a little bit nervous on how it would dry over my layered die cuts here, because this is 4 little pieces of paper here, and they're all glued down. But I didn't have any issues once it dried. I just made sure I used a really healthy coating of the glossy accents to get that covered. So anyway, that is my Loads of Fun birthday cards using the Lawn Fawn set. Let's get these out of the way. So many things going on. Okay. So this next set of the ones that I finished the most recently, I actually just finished doing these last night. This is how crazy it's been. I'm filming this on Friday. My Christmas with my family, my mother and my aunts and sisters and all of our children, is this Sunday. So, and a lot of these gifts are going with me on this Sunday. So this is how close I am to the line trying to get this done. This is using the Lawn Fawn Wild For You set. I chose to do a birthday card. Love these little animals. They're great. Excuse me. They're great characters, I guess, for your stash in general. So if you're looking for this one, I found a really good price on this one. I'll have a link down below. And coordinating dies. And I wanted, again, keeping with the theme, something a little bit more masculine or a little bit more neutral in tone. So I did a an aperture card. It's Have a Wild Birthday, and I stamped using Distress Oxide inks because it looks the best on the craft cardstock here. And I just have this little Polaroid here. This is actually, I cut the card base and this Polaroid frame in my Cricut. I do not have the Polaroid stamp and die set from Lawn Fawn. No problem. This is an example of one of those things that I would just use the Cricut for. Then Cricut does have a file to do this, and I just made sure to cut the hole for the front of the card. This whole card base was cut in the Cricut as well. And then I cut my craft piece as well, so that it would fit precisely over the top of my card. And then on the inside, you have the animals all ready for their party, and then you can write your little sentiment in here as well. I just thought that was really cute. And then I did another, a slightly different version where I have borders around the edge here and just different background paper, but they're all more or less the same. I had a lot of fun with these. As you can tell, I thought they were cute. I thought it was so clever using the picture, like, oh. Let's see. So now we have the Jump for Joy set from Lawn Fawn. Now this one is more of an autumn theme, obviously because of the leaves and everything. And I didn't have a chance to use this for Thanksgiving cards, and I still really wanted to use this because I hadn't had a chance to use this set at all. I picked it up secondhand. So I decided that I would use the birthday sentiment and do some autumn birthday cards because people still have birthdays in autumn. So I came up with these cards here. It's your birthday, jump for joy. And I have just this really cute little scene with the animals raking up a leaf pile. The background papers on these are Lawn Fawn paper as well. I thought that was fun, and some Nuvo drops. So again, more or less the same thing, just different patterns and maybe slightly different placement. I just thought it was fun. And then using the scraps of the paper that I cut down to fit on the front of my card is where I heat embossed the sentiments and just made sure that I picked up a complimentary strip for each card for the sentiments. And then like on the dark blue here, I've heat embossed on white, and then the rest of them are black. Anyway, so just some fun little autumnish birthday cards. And so this next set, I used the Village Shops stamp set. This one is one of the ones that, and I don't mind confessing to you guys, I picked up because I loved and I had a lot of ideas for it, but as soon as I got it, all of the ideas just slipped right out of my head, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me what I really wanted to do with this set. I hadn't opened it. It's one of those things I just had to have. So, you know, I ran out and bought it, and it just has been sitting here and sitting here, and I couldn't figure out what to do with it, and I still couldn't figure out what to do with it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make myself do some birthday cards with this. So I did, but I had to pull in a couple of components from the Happy Village set to kind of complete the scenes that I wanted to complete. And not a lot, but I just needed to borrow the trees and the clouds. Or I suppose this one has a cloud too, but I use this one and the cloud with the sun. So, excuse me, I'm so sorry. So this set didn't have any trees or a sun that I wanted. So it's mostly this set, and I pulled in a couple of components for Happy Village here. I'm still not, this might be something that I destashed because I'm still looking at it now, and I'm just still not inspired by it, so I'm not sure. And I did a bunch of little scenes here. Again, all more or less the same thing, just different background papers that I'm trying to use up out of my stash. I'm using, and you may have seen in some of the other cards, I'm using some of those great half pearl beads that I won in that contest from the Ink Road stamps. So again, just more or less the same scene, just different positioning on different paper. It's your birthday, treat yourself. They're all colored the same because I colored them all at once. Just placed differently on each card. Oops, here's one that belongs somewhere else. We'll get to that one in a minute. Anyway, so there we are for Happy Village and Village Shops. I wish I had better news about being more inspired, but who knows? Maybe I'll find something someday. And then the next one is one of my favorite Lawn Fawn sets ever. Fix my little stamp pocket here because it's messy. It's the Ahoy Matey from Lawn Fawn. Love this one, and of course the coordinating dice. And I've used this one so much, my stamp pocket is actually split down the side, and I've had to tape it up several times. Love this set. So I have my basic scene here, and I used, I obviously used the Stitch Hillside. I used my Stitch Lawn Fawn Waves in the background. I don't know if you can see the very, very background. I've actually done a little bit of inking with my favorite things cloud stencil to kind of make a little cloud scene in the sky. I had a lot of fun. So I've got the ship, the pirates, the treasure, and of course the X that the treasure chest is sitting on, in Distress Oxide ink so that it would show up on the craft cardstock that I used for the sand. These are little Nuvo drops. I used the copper and I think it's the walnut Nuvo drops to just kind of put a little interest in the sand. A lot of fun using up some background paper on this one. I made a mistake and I cut this background too small and I wasn't going to let it go to waste, so I just grabbed a piece of background paper from another ship-themed paper pad that I have, and you can see that has anchors on it, and then I still made use of it and just made it look like a frame. So that's why this one looks a little bit different. I don't believe in letting anything go to waste. Sorry about that screechy noise. That's a big truck coming to a stop at the stop sign next to my apartment. Anyway, so here are the other ones. Again, just different scene placements. And, oh, I've got a bit of a smudge. Excuse me, a bit of a smudge here that I did not notice, so I'm going to leave that one right to the top, and I'll put a gem or something on top of that one and let that dry before packing it up. But there we go with Ahoy Matey. I didn't know. What is that? I don't know. Let's grab a little something and put it on it right now before I forget. One of my favorite cover-ups. Nuvo drops. There we go. Couple of Nuvo drops, nobody will ever know. And all of these cards, each person's only getting one card, one of each design, so nobody's ever going to know that they were different. I'm going to set this one in my little drying rack over here to dry. We'll pack that one up tomorrow. There we go. You couldn't even tell that that red mark was there. We covered that right up. All right, so we're down to the last two with this particular project. We have the Manatee Terrific stamp set. This is a smaller stamp set. This is their medium-sized stamp set. And I really wanted to make a fun underwater scene with this one, and so I did, and I had a blast. For the background, I did some Distress Oxide ink blending, and I used 3 different colors, and I spritzed it with some water and picked that water up, and then I used my Stitch Wave die cuts and my Stitched Hillside dies, and my really fun little manatees. And these drops right here are those clear drops that I recently, those clear half flat back embellishments that I picked up from Hallmark Scrapbook. You guys might remember from my haul, I think it was like a week ago. Love them. I've already blown through like over half the pack, and I have to add it to a future shopping list because this is definitely something I'm going to keep on hand. It adds a lot of fun dimension to a card. You can see, let me just compare it to like those half beads here from the Ink Road. You can see the size difference. Love them. Anyway, so I just did have a Manatee Terrific that I've heat embossed on some dark navy cardstock for a night sky. That was it. Oh, the sand I actually ink distressed as well. I think this is Vintage Photo and Frayed Burlap ink. And then it has, I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but I took some of that Delicata Gold ink and smooshed it down on a craft block and added water and just flicked it on to give the sand a little bit of sparkly interest down on the bottom. And then of course, just die cuts. Just again, same thing, just different placement. If you've seen one, you've really seen them all. But I really loved the way that this ocean came out with the 3 different colors that I used and how it looks compared, the stark contrast on that navy cardstock. I absolutely love these cards. Oh, this one I used a couple of gems on as well because I made some boo-boos with some of the heat embossing and I wanted to cover it, so I covered it with some small gems. I might keep this one, who knows. I said I wanted one for me, right? So the very last ones is also ocean themed. And I used the Avery Elle for once, Hello Chum stamp set. This is hilarious. I love this stamp set. I love sharks. This one cracks me up. This is like the best. Avery Elle is also one of my favorite companies. Now this one, I did do Distress Oxide in the background as well, but this one I did a little bit differently. This is watercolor paper, and this is Distress Oxide ink smooshing, where I smooshed the ink pad directly onto my craft mat here, and then I wet it, and then I took my watercolor paper and I just picked up the different colors, and I used 3 or 4 different types of blues, and I think there's some grays in here as well to just make the backgrounds. And I ended up doing this project, I think during a insomnia fit or whatever. I think I got up at like 1 o'clock in the morning and everybody else was sleeping. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do some inking. So, so that's what I did. So all of the backgrounds on this one are a little bit different. And then of course I have some Nouveau drops here on the sand for a little bit of interest. I love this one. Happy birthday. We're going to need a bigger cake. Just cracked me up. And again, with the stitched borders, and all of them came out a little bit different, and I love the way that they came out. They're really cool. I just love the depth of color, the difference of color that you get. This one has a little bit more of the gray, the hickory smoke distress oxide in it. This one actually looks a little bit more like a wave coming up, just the pattern and the way that I cut it with the die. Just really fun. So that was the Avery Elle Hello Chum. I can't recommend this set enough. And that is all 10 different card designs that I made for my gift sets. And I will be back later to show you how I package those together, because they haven't been packaged up yet. I'm going to turn the camera off and do my thing. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It's only been about like 45 years since I stopped filming, so that I could go ahead and get my stamp on all of my cards and get them matched up with their envelope and sealed up into the box. I wanted to show you what I'm doing for gift boxes for my family and friends for card sets. Now this, I've shown you in a previous haul. This came from the Dollar Tree, this box here. I found them on the top shelf in the party aisle in my closest Dollar Tree, and they actually had a size that was slightly smaller, but I went with the slightly larger size because I thought that it would suit my needs a little bit better, and I'm glad that I went with it. Obviously they were just $1. This is something that I bought and didn't make. I was going to make boxes. Let me just turn off my sound here on my computer. My Facebook Messenger is going crazy. I was going to make it out of chipboard, but I decided that I didn't have time, and these look a lot better than anything that I could make. It has this nice craft covering, and then it's foiled a little bit with this red on the inside. So these are what I am giving to friends and family, and I am fitting my sealed cards right in here. And I'm going to print out a note that says, hang on to this box and this set because I'm going to add more cards into it for you every year. And that's going to kind of be my gift, is just I'm going to perpetually be providing these people with some greeting cards. So I wanted to show you how I am doing, I'm packing these up into the little seals here, into my little cello sleeves. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my custom stamp on the back of my card. I have this stamp that I got on Etsy. That was custom made for me, and it says Paper Crafts by Kim, and then it has my Etsy store and my town. And I stamped the bottom left of my cards. I don't even bother trying to center it, and I have like a nice pattern on my stamp as well, so it just works best on the bottom left of everything. In the back of my cards, I always use Ranger Black Archival ink because it dries instantly, so I can instantly, it's a nice crisp black, and it dries instantly, and I don't have to worry about accidentally smudging the ink on my envelope, because usually when I'm stamping these, it's right before I'm getting them packaged up. So we'll go ahead and stamp up. I just kept this one card out to show you what I do. I don't really use the handle part. I prefer to use my fingers and kind of line up my stamp. Press it right down there. Perfect. There's my stamp. My card is done. Sometimes if I'm working on a custom order, something very particular for a particular client, I'll also sign it and date it. And if I'm making a card for just friends and family for an occasion, I'll use one of my funny Technique Tuesday stamps that you guys have seen a couple times before that have funny different sayings on it. But these ones I'm intending to give as gifts, and I want the recipients of these cards to see my store link on it. Anyway, so here's the card, and for envelopes, you guys have seen this before as well, and I'll link it down below again. I buy my envelopes in bulk from Consumer Crafts. I get a package of white A2 envelopes, 50 of them for less than $3. They're really good quality. I like these a lot. I'll usually order 4 to 6 packages at a time. whenever I'm placing a consumer crafts order. So I get an envelope, and I cut the, because I use them so often, I'm pulling envelopes out all the time, all day long. I just cut the top right off the bag here so that I can just keep poking my finger in here to get it. So I package up my card with an envelope, and it goes just like this. I keep the flap of the envelope to the left, and my card like this. If this was a more of a horizontal card, like this one here, I keep it so that the top of it is to the left here. I like to keep everything neat and organized and consistent. And then for my cello sleeves, I actually get these on eBay, and they're 4 3/4 by 6.5 inch cello sleeves, and they have a self-steel stickum right on them. You can usually get 100 of them for less than $8. I will post a link down below to the latest source that I get these from. And it says it's A6 size, and that means it's because it could fit an A6 card in it. But if you are using it with the envelope, which I am, this is actually a good size for your A2 cards because it fits in right perfectly. So let's go ahead and get one in. So I want to put the opening towards the back. So I'm going to slip my card right in here and get everything pressed down in here nicely. And as you can see, there's a little bit of extra room, which is great if you're packaging up something really embellished. This can also fit like maybe two or three not very heavily embellished cards in here at once. So if you want to be conservative a little bit and package a few of them together, that would be fine too. And flip it over to the flap. I'm going to take the seal tape, the wax tape off my little stickum here. And these little strips, they do get a lot of static electricity. So I have to be careful and make sure that it does actually make it into my trash barrel because my rabbit will chew on them if they're on the floor. Anyway, so I'm going to press the air out. I'm grabbing the flap, pulling it back up, and just pressing it down, and then boom. There we go. My card is all sealed, and it is ready to be included in my card set. I'm putting a different card on the top of each box here, just so that when my friends and family open it up, they all get a different bit of a preview, and there you go. Now this fits 10 cards, 10 embellished cards. Most of these are embellished pretty nicely. I could probably get 1 or 2 more in here, but I think this is a good size for 10. So I will probably make 10 more cards for my family every year for the holidays, and they can continue to add them to their collection. Anyway, so I just wanted to show that to you real quick before we move on to the rest of the project share. The next thing that I'm going to show you guys is what I did with my October 2018 Hero Arts kit. I ran out of time to do cool stuff with this, so I started off with all really good intentions. I'm sure if you follow my channel at all, you know I'm a big Hero Arts fan. I like to do an unboxing. I like to do a completely separate video showing the cards and the projects that I've come up with the kit. I didn't have any time. Part of it was my own fault. I prioritized other kinds of projects that I wanted to do. I ran out of time, so I started this kit with good intentions, and I decided, seeing as it's not the great thing that it ended up to be, I wouldn't do a separate video, and I would just add the cards for this into my card share. And you may also wonder, my November 2018 kit, I opened, I haven't done anything with it. I'm probably going to do a giveaway with it. It's not something that I'm particularly interested in anyway. I'm well past my Christmas crafts at this point. Anyway, so I started off with really good intentions. Here is the kit here, and it comes with a bunch of dies, including this really nice fancy die that I can't wait to try now that I have my Gemini. When I worked on this kit, I was using my Cuttlebug. Now I have a Gemini, and I think that this will actually cut a lot better. I did try to use this fancy die. You'll see on a couple of my examples, I did try to use it, and it just wasn't going through properly with my Cuttlebug. It also came with some glitter papers, and you will see little bits of the glitter papers here and there. And it also came with this iridescent watercolor ink, and you shake it well to use. I never had a chance to use this because I ran out of time and I lost it. I took this out of the package and I took a photograph of it for a cover photo for my YouTube unboxing of the kit, and I think one of the cats jumped up on the table when I wasn't looking and knocked it over, and I lost it. And by the time we found this under a piece of furniture, like a month later, it was too late and I didn't have time to work with it. So I've still not yet worked with this iridescent watercolor ink, but it is sitting here on my desk. You do need to shake it really well to reincorporate a lot of the gunk here. It's sitting here on my desk to remind me to find a project to use it. I did stamp and color a ton of these images, and I got them die cut, and I started to assemble different cards and different scenes, and then I ran out of time, and then it was like, oh my god, I need these cards to send. I need to get these out to friends and family. So I just kind of, I don't want to say threw them together, but I built a lot of very just basic cards using some of the die cuts and some pattern paper because I completely ran out of time, and now I need to, whatever. You get it. Not everything works out the way that we intend it to do, but I was very fond of the kit. I didn't have a heck of a lot of time to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. There's not many. And again, like I said, I really need these because I have to mail them out. Because I'm running a bit short on Christmas cards. So we have just my favorite stamps out of the whole thing are the ones involved with the animals here, little animals stacked up. And then of course the raccoon with the Christmas lights around him as well. So, and another thing that I was a little bit disappointed about the kit is that I didn't realize it until after I had already stamped and colored them out, is there are no dies for the ornaments, and I suck at fussy cutting, so I was a little bit disappointed in that. But, and these are just various pattern papers. This is a watercolor distress ink background. This was some distress ink smooshing that I was having fun with, and here's some of that gorgeous glitter paper that came in the kit. It does not rub off at all. I don't know what brand it is, but I love it, and I'm definitely going to only be investing in messyless glitter paper from now on. And the kit also came with a couple of different star gems in here as well, so some of them have little gems on them. Oops. I like this card. I liked the way that the little white with the gray snow on the background. I just liked the way this one looked. So these were back when I was at a more leisurely pace. And then we get to the ones when I was like, oh my god, I just need to start building some cards here. So this one I ran out of Christmas tree die cuts, and I already had this base cut. So I decided to just make it a little bit of an animal theme. And here's that gorgeous paper. And I do love the little kids on ice skates. And you can see I colored things at different times. The little animals. I love this one, trying to put the tree topper up. So this is basically it. I did a lot of the work and then I kind of ran out of time. Here's another one with an ink smooshed background, and here's another lettuce. And this one was really fun too with some plaid paper. So that is the October 2018 Hero Arts kit. Emotionally, I have set this one aside already and I've moved well past it. Maybe we'll pull this one out again next year and do a little bit more work with it. We'll see. The next thing that I want to share with you, just to change it up a little bit, is something new to me that I've been working on, and my daughter has been working on, and actually I've had a friend that has come over and she has worked on it as well, is we are learning how to make Shrinky Dinks. You guys might remember these. I never really played with these when I was younger, but we're having a blast with them. They shrink super tiny. Basically, this is a piece of specialty plastic that you can do a variety of things, but what we've been doing is we've been stamping on them and coloring them, and then you bake them in your oven for a couple of minutes and it shrinks them down, and you can do things like, you know, make this mobile here. They have a picture of charms that you can make on a charm bracelet and key rings and just a lot of fun stuff like that. So basically we've just been playing with it, just doing some different kinds of projects to get a feel for it, to get a feel for how fast they shrink. You guys, they shrink really, really, really tiny. So let me show you the first batches of things that we did. I have an old scrap envelope here that's white that I'm going to use to put stuff on because these things are a little bit clear, a little bit translucent, and they're really teeny. So this is what my daughter has been working on. Now these are hand drawn by my daughter, and she drew them on a sheet of the plastic freehand, and we put little holes in them. The directions say to put holes in it before you bake it, and to use just like a regular hole punch, which went through it just fine. But this is how small the little circles shrink from the hole punch. So put a hole punch on it first before you bake it in the oven before it shrinks. So she drew it freehand with Sharpie. Then she used my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers to color over the Sharpie to color the different patterns. and then we cut them out, leaving a chunk on the top of each of the characters here so that I could punch a hole, and then we bake them. So I don't think that we're baking them, we're following the directions, but I think we're not intuitively baking them yet. So some of them are a little bit crinkly and they kind of dried hard, they cooled hard like that, so we can't bend them back. So it's not perfect. We're going to keep working on it, trying to figure out exactly what works best for our oven. But this was just playing around. So these are the ones that my daughter did. This is her here, and our pet rabbit Daisy, and she made a little panda. And somebody said, oh my god, she made a little devil character here. This is a unicorn. That's a horn, and these are the ears. The Spectre Noir markers don't always color the way that they color on paper on the acetate. So this was actually like a pink, like a dark pink that she had done with a light pink ear. And when it went on the acetate, it looked more red and orange. So I know that it looks like a devil. But it is not. It is a unicorn. And if you tell her that it's a devil, she'll get upset. And she'll want to know why you think you don't like her unicorn. So anyway, these are really cute. My daughter is obviously very talented. She's 10. Really cute. We like them. We're going to string these up so that she can make little keychains for them for her friends or something. They're certainly good enough to give away. But like I mentioned, the Spectre Noir doesn't always color onto the acetate the way that it colors on paper. And we had my color chart out and everything. And even there are some colors, even if we were picking a very dark color in the line, that wasn't showing up at any color at all on the plastic for the Shrinky Dinks. So it definitely takes a little bit of experimentation. They do say that you can also use acetate paint, not acetate, acrylic paint on these as well. I didn't feel like digging any of that out, but I did have all of my Spectre Noir markers out. So a lot of it's just experimentation with color and sizes and stuff. And my friend did a bit of stamping as well, but she took her things, so I don't have that to show you guys. So that's what my daughter did, and this is what I did, and I did straight stamping. I used, let me grab it, it's right here. I wanted to make a little mobile like this, only something that I can hang as a Christmas decor, thinking that things would shrink just a little bit, and no, it shrinks a lot. So I'm gonna have to find another use for what I did. But I wanted to use some cute little holiday characters, so I pulled out this My Favorite Things stamp set for Polar Pals, and I used all of these, and I was gonna string them up, and it was gonna be this great little mobile. It's not gonna work out the way that I had planned, but these are still really cute. So I stamped them, I stamped everything on the piece of Shrinky Dink using what's it called, StazOn Jet Black ink, because it says that you could use the website says that you can use StazOn, but the StazOn website says that you shouldn't color alcohol markers over the StazOn. So what we did was we stamped the image and then we flipped it upside down and did all the alcohol marker coloring on the opposite side, because it's clear just on the mirror image of whatever you had stamped out. So that is what I did, and you can see the size of the stamps that I did, and this is how teeny tiny they shrink. And again, mine are a little bit bendy. I think we may have pulled them out of the oven a little bit too soon. We're practicing, but these are all the ones that I stamped out, and look at how teeny tiny they are. They're so little. I don't know if you can see, but this is the full stamp size, and this is how much they shrunk, but they're still really cute. So I'm not going to be able to use them for what I wanted to use them for, but they do have the little holes in here that I had put on them before we baked them. So I will be, I'll find a use for these. I might put them on a little charm or something for my daughter. Here's the little narwhal, just super cute, super teeny tiny, just requires a little bit more practice, I think, to get the baking part right. But we're having a blast with our Shrinky Dinks, and here's my daughters again. And these are really cute, and now I really wish that I found another. I might actually stamp these on some regular acetate or whatever and try to make, obviously not shrink them, but try to make a mobile with, because now I really want that. So the last thing that I wanted to show you that I did a little bit later in playing with Shrinky Dinks as well, and this one again, I may have pulled out of the oven a moment too soon, so it's a little bit crooked, and that's okay. Like we'll figure it out. We'll get it right eventually. I wanted to make a mermaid. This is a keychain that I was going to make as part of a gift for my friend. I was actually going to use this as the gift tag on her Christmas present, and then have it be a keychain that she can turn it into. So I used another stamp again in Stays on Ink, and I used, this is my favorite stamp, this rubber foam stamp from Stampendous by Laurel Birch. This gorgeous mermaid, very detailed. You guys have seen me use this in projects before. I love this stamp, so I stamped that down on. And then I have these, and these are fairly new to me. I actually just hauled them this last month, I think. I picked these up from a shop on Etsy. It's from Stacys Stamps, the Stained Glass Waves die, which is right here. So I stamped the mermaid, and then I stamped the stained glass waves right on top of the mermaid. So I colored her with the different waves, and then I color the different waves in the background, and then I shrunk it in the oven, and it's obviously much smaller. Gosh, it's maybe a sixth of the size of what it used to be. It's obviously much, much smaller than it was, but I think that this is a great size to use as a keychain. It's a little bit lumpy. Again, I may have pulled it out of the oven just a moment too soon. I'll keep working on that. This is certainly good enough to give as a gift to my friend, and I did pre-stamp pre-punch the hole in it before I put it in the oven so that it works, but I thought you guys might enjoy. Well, just a little something I'm working on the side for a little fun, but this is a great stamp set if you're interested, and I'll have this link down below. Gorgeous. This is a lot of fun, a new one to me. Shrinky Dinks, I'll link these down below as well. Really fun. I recommend checking those out. I'll link this down below in case you're interested in this stamp set. I don't think I've ever actually I made a card out of this, so maybe next year. But these are really cute little guys here. And there's a bunch of just, not necessarily Christmas, well, there's a berry Christmas, but just a bunch of really fun winter sentiments in here. And I have the coordinating dice that I've never even opened on this one, but this is a really cute one. I might make some winter cards with this one going forward. Anyway, just a little something different. All right, back to a straight on card share. So this first one that I have to show you, I used the Flying By Little stamp set from Fawn. And I have the coordinating dies for these as well. I just wanted to make a couple of very basic hello type cards for some card sets that I'm making for my Etsy shop. So I had some strips of watercoloring that I had done. I'm working on different ways to make rainbow techniques, and I was experimenting with my Distress Oxide ink and watercoloring. This is on watercolor paper, and most of it turned out really ugly and unusable, and I just didn't like the way that it turned out. But I sliced some of them up to take pieces of them for different projects, and you may see more of this as we go forward. And these were some strips that were left over that I thought looked kind of cool, so I kind of adhered those to my simple black cards here. It just says Flying By to say hi. Just some very basic, I didn't really even do much. I stamped it, and I think I did like a little bit of like maybe light gray and then faded out just to make very simple paper here. I did not use the little dot stamp here. I just hand drew in with my gel pen because I wanted a different pattern than what this was, or different shape, a different movement to it than what that was. Heat Emboss Flying By to say hi on black. Just very simple hello cards, but I think that they definitely, it brings a lot more to them having that strip of watercolor rainbow paper. It just, oh, it was like magic the way that kind of worked out. And the next one, I used the Sweet Smiles set from Fawn. I love bubblegum stuff, and it really reminded me of the Kindred Stamps paper that they came out with, I think it was back in August, that had a lot of bubblegum stuff on it, and I'd been wanting to combine this stamp set with that pad of paper for a long time, and I finally did. And here's a couple of the cards that I came up with. This is all Kindred Stamps paper. Stamped these out, just very basic coloring with my Tombow markers. Really fun pattern gumball themed papers. There's a little bit of foam back here to give it a little bit of dimension and fun. These little faces are adorable. It is a bit of a pain to have to go in, and of course you can always skip that part too, but I went in with various different smiley faces and made each little gumball have a different expression on it, which it did take a bit of time to do that, but I'm pleased with the result. And I used a couple of those half pearl bead embellishments from the ink road on here as well, because I think that it just kind of pulled the look together into some really fun, really bright cards. Have a Ball and You're So Sweet. And this next card that I have to show you, I actually made quite a few of these, but most of them are gone except for this one. And I did do a live stream video using this earlier in November. This is using the Kindred Stamps See Friends set here, which is inspired by a really fun movie. It has some great sentiments in here. I made a couple of them. This is the only one I have left. I used a shaker card. I used and I didn't pull it out to show you, but the aquarium shaker pouch die from My Favorite Things. I'll have to remember to link that down below when I talk about this, with just some sequins from my stash here to make little shaker cards. And I stamped, colored, and fussy cut these out. No, I'm sorry. This is I believe this is a masking. So I stamped and then masked them out, and I have my masks in here as well. And then I colored around, inked around it. Sorry, not fussy cutting. I fussy cut the masks. That's what I was thinking of. I actually made this card weeks ago, so I don't remember how I did it. Anyway, I love Kindred Stamps. These are really nice, really cute. I do love this Stingray here. He's really cute. I can't wait to use him in another project coming up. But there we go. That is my Kindred Stamps. That is the one card that I have left from that batch. And we will pull out another batch of cards, go through those. Okay, the next little batch that I have to show you is Christmas card related, more Christmas cards. The first one is I did a Holiday Friday video using this stamp set from Avery Elle called Holiday Spirits. This really fun liquor bottle themed punny sentiments, and I did cards that said let's get into the holiday spirits and wishing you plenty of holiday spirits. I did a video on this. You can look back on my channel if I remember. I will link it down below so that you can take a peek. This is the one card that I have left that I haven't sent out yet from that batch that I probably will end up having to address and send out. This was a lot of fun. Of course, we have the coordinating dies for that as well, but let's get into the holiday spirits. This is some Distress Oxide inking, some Nouveau Glaze on top of the bottle here to give it a little bit of shine. I had a lot of fun making these, and I had a friend in mind when I was making these, and I was literally just like laughing to myself the whole time I was doing it. So I can't wait for him. I actually mailed his out, I think, what's today, Friday, like 2 days ago. He should be getting his in the mail soon, so I'm really excited to see that. So I'll have the stamp set link down below as well. And then I also made some Christmas cards using the Lawn Fawn Winter Unicorn small set here. It's All I Want for Christmas Is You and a Unicorn. This year I've been participating in a group called Home for the Holidays, which is a group of LGBTQ and and their allies and families and friends supporting people in the community that have been disowned or even worse by their biological families and have no one to spend the holidays with. So I mean, the group is so much more than that, but there are a lot of people from that group that I've met that could really use some fun Christmas cards. So I made some fun Christmas cards. So I did a bunch of different styles, but this one was by far, I just have 2 left, by far the most popular ones that I sent out, and I got a lot of messages from people after they've received the cards saying that they absolutely love them. Of course, my daughter had a lot of design inspiration as well. We made pretty pink and blue unicorns, and then we just did some rainbow cloud inking in the background using Distress Oxide inks. I thought it was perfect. And then of course, All I Want for Christmas Is You, these little things that we've stamped out on some vellum. And then kind of adhered it to a little bit of solid cardstock just to make the color pop a little bit. And then covered the glue dots with some Nouveau drops and no real particular pattern or whatever. But I had a lot of fun making these, and I'm really really happy that people have liked them. I have just 2 left, so I'm going to hang on to them and see if there's any latecomers to the group that could use a little bit of Christmas joy. I could write them a little message or whatnot. But I had a blast doing these. I hope that you like them, and if you're interested, definitely look for the group on Facebook, which is how I found them. I've met a lot of really nice people, and actually we haven't had anybody take us up on the offer, but we did post for our region, we did post an open invite if anybody wanted to come join us for Christmas dinner, and we would be their family on Christmas, and we would be honored if there's someone that would like to join us from that group. I would like that very much, to open up our home to people that otherwise don't have a home to go to anymore because of who they are. It's very sad. Okay, so we're going to switch gears just a little bit, and I'm going to show you another non-card project really quick. And I think, I don't know, I might be losing my mind. So here's another card thing. I've showed this to you guys before. I've been working on making some coffee cozies or coffee koozies for little gifts here using some felts. And I've been using the Coffee Cozy and Details die set from Papertree Ink, and of course I have the little add-on set here, which makes the details. You do not need the add-on set. It's just fun to add little details to things. So I have just 2 more left to stitch. I grabbed some really inexpensive, I grabbed this really inexpensive assorted pack of embroidery thread from Walmart, and that's kind of what I've been using to do my stitching with. And this is what the finished product looks like here, and I just have 2 more to go, so I just thought that I would show you. I keep this kind of near the couch, so when I'm watching television in the evening, or Netflix more accurately in the evening with my husband, not husbands. I can only handle one at a time. When I'm watching Netflix with my husband in the evenings, I can do some stitching, and so I literally just have 2 more to go, but I made one of these for pretty much everyone I know, and it's just going to go on top of their holiday packages or in their holiday packages, and some of them have gone right into Christmas cards, and I was able to mail them with just a non-machinable first-class stamp, which is only like 75 cents or something, so really easy fit. But I really highly recommend this set if you're looking for something to make little stocking stuffers with or whatnot. I imagine if you use nicer materials than what I'm using, I'm just using inexpensive craft felt here. If you use really nice materials, there might even be a market to sell these kinds of little handcrafts at your craft fairs or whatnot. You know, keep a little basket of them right next to your cash register on your table. That would be awesome too. So moving on again, more cards. This project got more complicated than I had intended. Let me get this out of the way. So I have this stamp set that I picked up used on eBay, Critters Ever After, and I grabbed some coordinating dies to go with that as well in a different purchase, and I really wanted to use it. This is an older Lawn Fawn set, and I had a blast with it. So I made some cards here, and I will show you the cards. This first one here I did with the dragon, and this is all paper pieced layered. I did kind of like a rainbow thing. I'm really into rainbows and clouds lately, and it's May All Your Dreams Come True. It's just a flat card. There's no dimensionals here. I didn't think that it needed any, and honestly, with all the different layers of paper, it's kind of already heavy enough. I'm gonna have to pop that on my postal scale and see if it will even go through with just one stamp. So I did that one, and I did this one, which is kind of the same thing, only I did a unicorn, and I made the clouds white, and I did some inking, little rainbow inking on these as well. And of course we have some Nuvo drops here for my little wand, my little Make-A-Wish. And then the one I was most stumped with was the griffin. I don't really know a lot about griffins. They're not other than like from Harry Potter. It's not a mythological creature or a mythical creature that has popped up in a lot of the literature or media or whatever that I've kind of absorbed through my life. But so I was a little bit unsure what to do with that, but I figured it's a flying creature. We're going to put it in the sky too. So I made a bunch of puffy clouds. Castle in the clouds, and then I just did some heat embossing here with a little star, just because I thought it needed a little bit of sparkle. So, and then this one here with the You're So Charming with the frog prints here, I thought was adorable, but I needed to pull in some other elements. I wanted to do a castle scene with the lake here, as you know, but this didn't have enough elements that I wanted to have to build my scene, and I did the You're So Charming here. We've got some clouds, we've got stitched hills, stitch waves, but I wanted some of the lotus and what are these called? Cattails. I wanted to build my scene, so I pulled in a second set to get those details, and this is the Lawn Fawn Totally Awesome. And I borrowed the lotus flowers and I think the lily pad too that the frog is standing on came from this set, and of course the cattails, and that kind of helped to build the scene. And while I had this out, I figured I might as well make some cards with this too. So I stamped a whole bunch of extras, and I made some Totally Awesome cards as well, and we've just got a variety of different sentiments here. Just, I didn't have anybody in particular when I was making these, just for my Etsy shop or for different gift sets of cards. We've got Have a Totally Awesome Birthday, and for the little dots on the leaping frog here on his little butt, I did Nouveau drops. I just thought that would be fun. A little bit of sparkling here. Have a Happy Father's Day. Have a Totally Awesome Birthday. Have a Happy Mother's Day. Have a Happy Birthday. And I hand drew the little swirlies here from the butterfly. Congrats on your new pad. This one's funny. I actually think I made 2 of these, and I may have sent one out already to a friend that just moved to a new house. So I may have taken one. I could have sworn that I made 2 of them. So those are my Critters Ever After and my Totally Awesome projects. Let's get these out of the way. We're very near the end, I promise. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. So the next one, I used this Avery Elle stamp set. This is called Wild Birthday. Now this stamp set I picked up because the characters on it, the animals, are a little bit larger than, say, like the Lawn Fawn animals, and I wanted something a little bit larger. Actually, let me see. I should still have it next to me here if I can grab the what is it called? This stamp set with the animals on it that I just had, the Wild Birthday. So this is the Lawn Fawn one, Wild for You. So the animals are great, and I really love them, but like, see how the lion is a little bit bigger on the Avery Elle versus the Lawn Fawn? I wanted something a little bit bigger for a little bit different of a look. So that's why I grabbed this one, even though some of the animals are kind of repetitive. But I think that the drawing style is thick enough that we might even be able to combine images from the 2 sets as well. Anyway, so I made some cards, some very basic birthday cards with this one, and these cards I made, one of them because I did an exchange in my Paper Crafters Plus group for children's birthday cards, was the theme for November. So I made a card to go with that swap, and I made a couple of extra while I was making. I usually make extra of something when I'm making it. So this is basically the little scene that I came up with, just a fun. I used some pattern papers just because I like pattern papers, and I think that it brings something a little bit extra and a little bit fun for the ground and the sky. And I just used huge birthday wishes. We have a little scene here, and I actually borrowed the dies. I think this is from the Lawn Fawn Shadow Box card die set to bring in the little branches and these little leaves or something for the birds to stand on. And I really like this banner here. I had a little bit of difficulty lining the letters up in the banner, but I figured it out and did a lot of coloring. And the hippo here is propped up on a little bit of foam, and so is this balloon that she's holding, and I covered the balloon with some Nouveau glaze just to give it a little bit of shine. So just a fun little unisex birthday card here. And again, I already gave one away, but I made a couple of spares. This next one you may recognize is another Christmas card thing that I also did a Holiday Friday video for it, probably in November. I think this one came out. And this is essentially the project. I did a whole bunch of them. They're already all gone. This is the one that I saved to show you guys for this video, but I will, excuse me. I'm so sorry, like choking on a piece of dust. I will end up filling this out and sending it out to somebody because I'm really scraping for every Christmas card I can find right now, trying to complete for my list. I will not get this far behind in 2019. I'm going to start my Christmas list in like January, and I'm going to make myself make X amount of Christmas cards every month so that this doesn't happen again and I don't get out of hand. Again, we had a lot of stuff going on this year, and like we moved right around the time when I would have been doing the bulk of this project, so I'm not genuinely mad at myself. I'm just a little bit frustrated that I got stuff behind. Anyway, so using this latte, Thanks a Latte set from Lawn Fawn, really fun images, and again, I'll link the video down below in which I worked with this, but this is the actual card that I made in the video, I think. or the one that I showcased in the video. Just propping it up with a little bit of foam here. Just a fun scene with some sparkle using some Lawn Fawn colorful paper. I really like this card, and I really like the sentiment. You're the marshmallows to my cocoa. It's just so cute. I had a blast making these. Who am I kidding? I have a blast making most cards, but if something's cute, I have extra fun making it. So, the last stamp set that I have worked with in the last 6 weeks or so, that I have to show you anyway, is using the Lawn Fawn Critter Concert set. Now, I did not have a specific use for these. I was just making some cards. Get my little tray out of the way here. Making some cards here for my stash or for whatever. I struggled a little bit conceptually with the design because what I wanted to do wasn't working out. But I really liked this happy birthday to you sentiment here, and it kind of made me think that this was coming out of one of the instruments that they were playing. Actually, I have a ton of little pieces left over because what the card idea that I wanted to do wasn't working out. So I went with these. So I ended up stamping this. Here's my little scene here. Here's one scene. Oh, and I also used the dies here. This is the theater add-on die for the shadow box card, and I used the dies here to make a scene, a theater scene right on this card. I used that curtain die and I used the stage die to make the scene right on this card. So I ended up, the way that I got around what I was trying to do was I stamped the sentiment on some vellum. That way it was still a little bit clear, and I kind of hoped that that gave the look I was going for. This was the music notes that were actually coming out of their instrument, you know, like a cartoon or whatever. And I put it on some pattern paper that I found from my stash. Heat Emboss, go ahead, toot your own horn. I figured this is some kind of a really fun birthday card for pretty much anyone, I would think, especially with the color palette that I used, just nice primary colors. And then this one here is happy birthday to you and hope you have an awesome day. And this one has kind of like the whole band ready to play a happy birthday song, and I believe this is Lawn Fawn papers that I've used in the background. So I also did, I figured while I had the shadow box card dies out and the theater add-on, I would make a little something for my friend. So I made a little shadow box theater for her. There's no sentiment on here or anything. I just wanted to make her a little decoration, a little theater, so we have a bit of a scene. And I used in the very back, I don't know if you can see, I recently acquired some metallic cardstock paper from, I think it was Die Cuts with a View. And I used the little stars that came with the add-on to cut, and it cut beautifully. And I used those for the back here. So just a little fun decorative thing for my friend who is a retired music teacher. Just a little something fun for her dresser or whatever. Anyway, a little something fun. I really do like this shadow box add-on card. If you guys have been following me for any length of time, last Christmas I made a ton of these shadow box cards to put inside the gifts that I was giving to my family and friends, so that everybody had a fun thing that they could use as just like a little decorative piece in their house. Anyway, so I'm looking around and making sure that I've got everything. I've shown you everything that I had. I think so. All of the projects that I at least still had left over to show you. I did a ton of cards in the past couple of weeks. I'm really looking forward to not doing any for the next couple of weeks. We are, Christmas is like in 11 days, so it's a little over a week. I'm going to finish a couple of other loose ends that I have around the craft area, like the coffee cozies that I showed you. I have a couple of other things that I'm pulling together. And for the most part, I'll be working on Valentine's Day during Christmas break, which is, it starts in like 9 days or something. I don't even know. I have to look at my calendar. I don't even know what day my daughter's, so my daughter's, next Friday is her last day. So I have 1 week until my daughter's on vacation, and that's what I consider my Christmas vacation as well, for 2 weeks. So I'll be working on Valentine's Day and stuff at that point, but anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed. Again, I will have links to some of the stuff that I had showcased down below, like the stamps and die sets and things like that. If you have any questions about a specific supply that I've used that's not linked, definitely do let me know, and I'm happy to pass along a link for that as well. I'm certainly not going to take you know, 7,000 hours to make you read a book about every last, you know, marker or whatever I've used on every single card. But if you do have a question about something specific, chances are I know exactly where I got it from and can link it down below. I do appreciate your spending some time with me today. I hope that you've enjoyed and that you were doing something, cleaning your house or whatever as you were watching. I hope that this has inspired you. Have a really, really nice day, and I will talk to you later. Bye!